Hi everyone, this is the humble footstool, sometimes known as a footrest, that's been widely in use by classical guitarists for a very long time. The old school players such as Segovia, John Williams, Julian Bream, all used to use these. So I was going to talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages of the footrest, and let's see what we can discover along the way. So keep watching.
This is Everything Guitar.
Now the footrest is a very simple device. It's got notches, and the various footrests, some of them had different notches, some of them had 3, some of them had 4, some of them had 5. This particular one's got 5 notches, and you can set it up. I've got one on the floor here now, so I've got one of my legs is slightly higher than the other. When you put it up really high, like that, so it's all about the angle here. That was on the maximum, so now it's on the second rung. It's now at that angle. Third rung. So every time you adjust the footrest, the angle of the neck changes, and obviously the angle of your wrist will naturally change here. Put it on the lowest setting. So on the lowest setting, I'm having a little bit of trouble with this wrist, so I'd have to lean down, so that's not good. Second setting, not too bad. Not too bad on this, my left hand. Not sure if the right hand's comfortable. Third notch. For me, that's more like it. So that's good. That feels nice and solid. So the advantages are you can get the neck up to a decent height. Now with the right wrist, you notice that in order to get a sensible angle, you have to kind of twist the wrist very slightly. And you notice that in old school players like John Williams, very straight, kind of pushed in wrist like that. So it's really important not to stress any areas. So that's one of the disadvantages. So advantages are very comfortable. Guitar doesn't feel like it's going to slip. It's nice and comfortable for the left side. The right side may be slightly compromised. So trying to get the right wrist in a good position. So that's straight. So I'm moving my wrist very slightly. So yeah, so it's compromised a little bit. So the footrest, advantages of the footrest as well, very cheap. You can find some guitar supports up to $50, $60, 40, 50 pounds. Some of them 30 or 40 pounds. So there's a range of prices for the other types of guitar supports, but these are usually really cheap. I think these are about. I think I paid about €5 for this. So certainly less than $10, less than £10, less than €10. It's a very simple device. It's nice and sturdy on the foot. You get the feeling that it won't fall apart during a performance, because obviously you need stability, you need reliability, you need predictability. It's a good solution in a way. So here's the downside. Chiropractors, physiotherapists and osteopaths are littered with guitar clients that have spent years playing with these. And what happens is, with your foot in the air, you end up twisting the spine, and you can cause all sorts of lower back problems. Now, I went to a physiotherapist when I was in my early 20s, and I had all sorts of hand and arm issues. And he said, well, you know, as you spend so much time with the guitar, why don't you bring the guitar in and I'll look at your playing position and see if there's any solutions. So I brought my footrest in and sat there with my leg in the air, and he immediately said, because I had this whopping great angle on the footrest, and he said, well, the immediate thing you can do is reduce the angle, go down to the lowest setting. And of course I had problems being on the lowest setting, but for the sake of my back I thought, well, it's most sensible to do that. So I persevered for a while, and I thought, well, I noticed a lot of guitarists using cushions and things. There are cushions that you can buy, but they're very, very cumbersome, and you know, they just look bulky, and I thought, you know, the best solution is just to get a little soft case. It's just a little soft case, and inside it's got a couple of scarves. It's just two scarves rolled up. So the idea here is that I'm just creating a bit of bulk, and I can, if I want more bulk, I can shuffle it all up, or if I want less bulk, I can just create a cushion there, which I put on my knee. You'll see this in a lot of my guitar performances. I still use it. I've tried other footrests and guitar supports. I'm still looking for one that really works for me on a permanent basis that I can trust. So I just put the cushion underneath the guitar. But you want it so the guitar feels comfortable. You want it so it feels nice and stable. So the guitar's not going anywhere. Does that make sense to me? I feel fairly comfortable on the right hand, not too bad. And if you want to, you know, adjust the angle at all, you've got, you know, it's soft, so, you know, you've got some flexibility. So I quite like this as a solution. The advantages: a footrest, cheap. Two scarves rolled up, cheap. And when you think of what you're carrying around, it doesn't weigh very much, doesn't take up much room. You can shove this in your guitar case, so it's convenient. Now, with a footrest, sometimes people say footrests are inconvenient because very often you can't fit one in your guitar case. Which is true, but there's nothing to stop you putting the footrest on top of your guitar case and just some army straps, some bungee straps. you know, around the bulk of the case, you could quite easily hold this in place when you're traveling. Obviously, you can't fly with it like that, so the weight of these is quite a lot of, you know, it weighs quite a bit. So, you know, it is going to push up your baggage, not by a great deal, but, you know, it's a little bit on the weighty side. So, you know, it's just one thing to consider. But all in all, for a cheap solution that actually works, I'm kind of quite happy with this compromise situation. I've mitigated the problems on my back. Instead of having the footrest at that height, mitigated it on that height, so, you know, the pressure relief on the spine is quite a lot. So and I know players that have gone through their whole lives with a normal footrest and not had any problems, but I do know of plenty of players who have had some terrible problems. So less twist in the spine, and I guess if you're aware about your flexibility in your spine, then it's a good idea to do some yoga, do some stretching, you know, keep your spine, you know, in the correct angle. Don't spend hours and hours in the same position. You know, if you are in this position here, you know, even though it's only very slight, it's still important to have regular breaks, and obviously to be mobile, to be fit, go for a cycle, go for a run if you're able to, you know, or go for a walk, and any other, you know, yoga practices or anything like that are usually very, very good. So in a concert situation, I think that's what I would prefer to do. So I hope this video has been helpful to you. If you do want to help me in a small way, the best way of helping me is to leave a review, like on iTunes or on Amazon. So I've got quite a few albums out, so always helpful to receive a review. So that's all from me. I hope that helps. See you later. Bye.
So if this video has helped you, then why not subscribe? And you know the saying, those that can, do. And I should leave out the other bit that says, those that can't talk about it. And why not check out some of our other videos? And there are 2 here to check out for you now. And remember, don't just watch, play, and make the commitment to becoming a better guitarist by subscribing to the channel. All the best. Hasta luego.